Namaste, Namaskaram, and welcome back to Infinite Abundance. In our last episode, we introduced the 12 Jyotirlingas, the 12 places in India where Shiva is said to have manifested as an infinite column of divine light. Now, the journey begins, and we begin at the first Jyotirlinga, which is Somnath, on the western shore where the moon came to be healed. On the Saurashtra coast of Gujarat, about 400 kilometers southwest of Ahmedabad, lies a shore that the ancient texts called Prabhas Kshetra, the sacred field of radiance. Today, it is called Prabhas Patan or Somnath. Somnath stands at roughly 70 degrees east longitude, and if you draw a straight line due south from this temple, you touch no land at all until Antarctica. Nothing but open ocean between this shore and the bottom of the world. The temple's builders knew it. An inscribed arrow pillar, the Banastambha, stands on the sea-facing wall pointing south. A century-old statement of geographic awareness that modern satellite maps have since confirmed. Prabhas is also a Triveni Sangam, the confluence of three rivers, the Kapila, the Hiran, and the unseen mythological Saraswati, all said to meet the sea at this point. In Hindu tradition, a confluence of three rivers is where the earthly and the divine touch each other most directly. And there is one more layer. According to the Bhagavata Purana, this is the land where Lord Krishna spent the final days of his earthly life. 5 kilometers away at Bhalka Tirth, a hunter named Jara mistook the resting Krishna for a deer and struck him with an arrow. And from here, tradition says, Krishna left his mortal body for his divine abode. Somnath is not merely a Shiva shrine, it is one of the most cosmically loaded pieces of earth in all of India. To understand why Somnath exists, we must begin in the sky. In Hindu cosmology, Chandra, the moon god, is not merely a celestial body. He is a deity who governs time, tides, and the rhythms of the human mind. Prajapati Daksha, a son of Brahma, gave his 27 daughters in marriage to Chandra, the 27 nakshatras, the lunar mansions through which the moon travels in its monthly round. And here, legend and astronomy speak the same language. The moon takes just over 27 days to circle the earth against the fixed stars, what astronomers call the sidereal month. Divide the sky along its path into 27 segments, and the moon spends almost exactly one night in each. The 27 wives, one night with each. The ancient sky watchers who told this story had done their measurements. But Chandra was enchanted by one wife above all, Rohini, the radiant star we know today as Aldebaran, the brightest of the lunar mansions. In his absorption with her, he neglected the other 26. Their father warned him 3 times in vain, and so Daksha pronounced a terrible curse. Chandra would lose his radiance, kala by kala, and by 1/16th of the moon's full brightness, until he faded into darkness entirely. The consequences were cosmic. Moonlight, the Vedas say, nourished the Aushadhis, the medicinal plants of the earth. As Chandra faded, the plants wilted, and the beings that depended on his light weakened. In desperation, Chandra sought Brahma, who told him, only Shiva can help you. Go to Prabhas Kshetra, the sacred field by the western sea, and perform tapasya. Chandra came to this shore. For 6 months, he sat in meditation, chanting the Mahamrityunjaya mantra, the great death-conquering hymn, 10,000 times a day, even as his light drained away. Shiva, the Ashatosha, the one who is easily pleased, appeared in his full brilliance. He could not erase a curse spoken by a Prajapati. The laws of dharma do not permit it, but he could transform it. You will wane for 1 fortnight, Shiva said, and wax for the next. In the dark fortnight called Krishna Paksha, you will diminish. In the bright fortnight called Shukla Paksha, you will return. And on Purnima, the night of the full moon, you will shine whole. All 16 kalas restored. This is the mythic reading of what astronomy calls the synodic month, the 29 and a half day cycle in which the moon's sunlit face turns towards us and away again. The moon makes no light of its own. It reflects the sun. What waxes and wanes is not the moon itself, but our view of its illuminated half. The legend intuited something profoundly true. The moon's dimming is never destruction. It is geometry. It always comes back. And the ocean at Somnath's feet performs the proof twice a day. The moon's gravity pulls the sea into tides. So the water at this very shore rises and falls to the rhythm of the deity enshrined here. Science calls it gravitation. The tradition calls him Somnath, or the Lord of the Moon, with the sea bowing at his doorstep. Overwhelmed with gratitude, Chandra worshipped Shiva, and Shiva remained manifesting as a Jyotirlinga at this very spot. Chandra named the lingam Someshwara, the Lord of Soma, or Somnath, and the land was renamed Prabhas, which means lustre or brilliance, because it is here that the moon's light was restored. No other shrine in India has had to prove its existence so many times. Somnath has been destroyed and rebuilt at least 7 times, and each version tells you what an age believed. Tradition counts the first temples in mythic time, built in gold by Chandra himself, rebuilt in silver by Ravana, the king of Lanka and one of Shiva's fiercest devotees, rebuilt in fragrant sandalwood by Krishna and given its first stone form by the legendary king Vikramaditya of Ujjain. With medieval India, we enter documented history, and the story turns heart-wrenching. In January 1024 CE, Muhammad of Ghazni marched deep into Gujarat. Somnath was then among the wealthiest temple complexes in the world, its treasury fed by 1,000 years of pilgrimage. Muhammad broke through its defenses, shattered the lingam, emptied the treasury, carried off the temple's legendary gates, and razed the shrine. What happened next matters more. Within decades, the Solanki kings of Gujarat under Bhimdev had rebuilt Somnath between 1026 and 1042 CE. The temple was damaged again in 1296 by Alauddin Khilji's forces, again in 1395 by Zafar Khan of the Gujarat Sultanate, and demolished once more in 1665 on the orders of Aurangzeb, who had a mosque raised at the sanctum. Even then, devotion found a way. In 1783, the Maratha queen Ahilyabhai Holkar, unable to build on the occupied site, constructed a new Somnath temple immediately beside it. Her quieter, older shrine still stands there today. Then came 1947. Months after independence, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel stood at the ruins and pledged that Somnath would rise again. The project, championed by K.M. Munshi as an act of civilizational restoration, debated in earnest by Prime Minister Nehru and carried out by the Somnath Trust rather than the government, culminated on May 11, 1951, when President Rajendra Prasad consecrated the 7th temple. And here, science entered the story once more. When the ruins were cleared for reconstruction, archaeologists excavated the site and found the remains of the earlier temple layers beneath it, medieval walls resting on older foundations. The temple's biography written in stone strata, exactly as the chronicles had claimed. The present temple is built in the Kailash Mahameru Prasada style of Maru Gujarat's architecture by the Sompura Salats, a lineage of master builders who have raised temples in Gujarat for some 2000 years. Its shikhara climbs 50 meters in progressively fine layers, a stone diagram of Mount Meru, the cosmic mountain at the center of the universe, and of Kailash, Shiva's eternal abode. 3 chambers form the temple's body: the Garbhagriha, the sanctum where the Jyotirlinga rests, the Sabha Mandapa, the assembly hall, and the Nritya Mandapa, the dance hall, their outer walls covered in carved deities and celestial beings. The lingam itself is Swayambhu, self-arisen, a naturally formed black stone bathed each morning in Ganga water, milk, and honey during the Abhisheka. Devotees describe darshan in that lamp-lit chamber as stepping out of time. And on the sea-facing wall stands the Bhanastambha, the arrow pillar, pointing south towards a horizon with no land until Antarctica. A quiet, scientific, poetic statement carved into a sacred building. We know exactly where we stand on this earth, and it is here that Shiva chose to remain. The temple managed by the Sri Somnath Trust is open for darshan from 6 in the morning until 10 at night. 3 aartis mark the day: Mangalarati at 7 am, Madhyana Arati at noon, and Sandhya Arati at 7 in the evening, performed as the sun sets into the Arabian Sea behind the temple. Waves sounding beneath the bells. It is one of the most atmospheric rituals in any Jyotirlinga. At 8 pm, a light and sound show projects Somnath's history onto the temple walls, about an hour long and well worth staying for. Pilgrims traditionally begin with a ritual bath at the Triveni Sangam before entering the temple. Photography inside is prohibited and modest dress is expected. Wheelchairs and carts are available at the main gate, and the temple complex welcomes visitors of all faiths. Somnath lies in the Gir Somnath district of Gujarat, 400 kilometers from Ahmedabad, 82 kilometers from Junagadh. By air, Diu airport is closest, about 65 kilometers away, while Rajkot and Ahmedabad offer far more connections. By rail, Somnath has its own station just half a kilometer from the temple, with direct trains to Ahmedabad, Junagadh and Dwarka. Veravale station, 7 kilometers away, has wider connections. By road, buses and taxis run from Ahmedabad in 7 to 8 hours, from Junagadh in an hour and a half, and from Dwarka in 3.5. A pleasant drive through the open Saurashtra landscape. Around the temple, keep a day for the sacred geography. Bhalka Tirth, 5 kilometers away, marks the spot where Krishna was struck by the hunter's arrow. The Gita Mandir stands near the Triveni Sangam, where Krishna is believed to have rested, and the Prabhas Patan Museum, near the temple complex, holds carved panels and inscriptions, recovered from the destroyed temples. The physical evidence of every Somnath that came before this one. Many pilgrims pair this journey with Dwarka, about 245 kilometers north, home of the Nageshwar Jyotirlinga, the 10th in our list, completing 2 of the 12 and 1 of the 4 sacred Char Dhams in one single Gujarat circuit. Somnath has been reduced to rubble and raised from rubble more times than almost any temple on earth, and each time it came back because the belief in what this place represents proved more durable than any army, any invasion, any act of erasure. Prabhas, brightness, lustre, the light that cannot be permanently extinguished, like the moon it is named from. This temple only ever wanes, it always returns. In our next episode, we travel to the Nallamala hills of Andhra Pradesh to Mallikarjuna, where Shiva and Parvati followed their son to the edge of the world and stayed there. If this content resonates with you, please like, share and subscribe to this YouTube channel, Infinite Abundance. Om Namah Shivaya.